The airport is a high-stakes minefield designed to drain your wallet before you even reach your gate. They rely on your exhaustion and your ignorance to turn a profit. Right now, you might be paying nearly $48 for a single gallon of water. Think about that for a second. That is 10 times the price of premium gasoline for your car. The airline might owe you over $1,500 in cold, hard cash for an overbooked flight. But they will try to slide you a pathetic $15 sandwich voucher instead. The system is rigged against the casual traveler. You need these 12 rules to navigate this high-altitude trap and keep your money where it belongs. Rule 1 of 12. Airport water is currently retailing for an astronomical price. Ella, a 22-year-old marketing specialist from Boston, stood at a newsstand in Terminal C at Logan International, staring at a $6 bottle of water. It was only 16 ounces. She was parched after the long security line, but the price felt like a personal insult. The system is rigged against your most basic biological needs. They bank on your thirst, so you will overpay for a plastic bottle that costs pennies to produce. Ella looked at the bottle, then at her bank app, and decided she refused to be a victim. The fix is incredibly simple and saves frequent flyers hundreds of dollars every year. Pack an empty, reusable bottle in your carry-on bag. Security agents only care about the liquid inside, not the container itself. Once you are through the checkpoint at Logan, BOS, ignore the shops and find the hydration stations. Most major hubs now offer filtered water stations for free. Ella walked past the expensive newsstand and found a filling station near gate C19. It took exactly 10 seconds to fill her bottle. She saved $6 and avoided adding more plastic to a landfill. Reality check. These stations occasionally go down for maintenance, but in 90% of cases, it is an easy win for your wallet. You just saved money on water, but that is nothing compared to the mental peace you will need when the digital walls start closing in. Here is Rule 2. Rule 2 of 12. Shut down your background data sync the moment you step into the terminal. Violet, a 37-year-old high school teacher, sat at gate C15 in Dallas-Fort Worth, DFW, with her laptop open. Her flight to London was boarding in 20 minutes, and a crucial lesson plan refused to upload to the cloud. Anxiety spiked as she watched the loading bar freeze at 10%. Beside her, a teenager was effortlessly streaming a movie in high definition without a single lag. Why was her connection failing? The airline will never tell you this, but they often throttle public Wi-Fi connections once a device hits a specific data threshold. They are banking on your ignorance of how your phone and laptop actually manage data in the background. Violet's phone was silently trying to upload 4 gigabytes of vacation photos in the background, eating her bandwidth alive while she struggled with one important email. Stop. Go to your settings and kill your auto backups and cloud syncs immediately. Better yet, switch your DNS settings to 8888 to bypass those crowded local airport servers that everyone else is clogging up. It is not a magic wand, but it often stops the stuttering connection long enough to get your work done. Violet's email finally sent just as her boarding group was called. One digital leak was plugged. But a fast connection will not help you when you are physically exhausted and dragging 50 pounds of luggage across a hot parking lot. Rule 3 is about to save your muscles and your cash. Rule 3 of 12. Harper, a 52-year-old nurse, was dragging 3 heavy suitcases across the baking asphalt toward the terminal at Phoenix Sky Harbor, PHX. She was beyond exhausted. Her arms felt like lead, and the desert heat was relentless. She reached for a silver luggage cart near the entrance to the terminal. The screen on the handle flashed a price: $7. $7 just for a 10-minute walk to the check-in desk? The system is rigged to catch you when you are at your absolute weakest. Harper stared at the carts locked behind a digital paywall. They bank on your desperation. Don't fall for it. Here is the insider fix that saves you the price of an airport lunch. Walk inside toward the baggage claim area first. Arriving passengers often leave their carts right by the luggage belts or the exit doors as they rush to their taxis and Ubers. You can find a stray cart for free if you look for just 30 seconds near the arrivals exit. Another pro move? Check the parking garage elevator lobbies. People ditch them there constantly to avoid the long walk back to the terminal. Harper stepped inside the cool air of the terminal, spotted a discarded cart near door 4, and loaded her bags with a smile. You just saved enough for a decent meal later. Smart travelers never pay for wheels. Airport staff rarely mind if you reuse a discarded cart, since it helps keep the terminal tidy. Harper saved her money and her back. But a free cart will not help when your digital security is at risk from a flashy shop window. Rule 4. Rule 4 of 12. Have you ever looked at a shimmering display in a duty-free shop and thought you were finally beating the tax man? Jack, a 41-year-old photographer, certainly did. Standing in the terminal at Washington National, DCA, he spotted a designer perfume bottle priced at $95. It was labeled as tax-free, which sounds like a guaranteed steal. But Jack was skeptical. He pulled out his phone and did a quick 10-second search. The exact same bottle was available for $79 on a major retail website with free shipping. That duty-free deal was actually 20% more expensive than the regular retail price. This is where they screw you. They bank on your transit-high impulse and the tax-free label to blind you to the actual market value. Stop. Before you swipe your credit card for a luxury item, spend 30 seconds on a price comparison app. Most luxury goods in these shops carry a heavy markup that far outweighs any local sales tax savings. While high-end spirits might offer a genuine discount due to heavy federal taxes on alcohol, for fragrances, watches, and electronics, you are almost certainly overpaying for the convenience. Jack put the bottle back on the shelf and walked away. Convenience is just another hidden tax. But losing $20 on perfume is nothing compared to the mental exhaustion of a crowded terminal during a long wait. That is why you need the next secret. Rule 5. Rule 5 of 12. Over 20% of travelers waste their long layovers sitting on cold, sticky terminal floors near a trash can. Take Leo, a 28-year-old software engineer stuck at Portland International, PDX. He had an 8-hour gap between his flights and was staring at a blank wall near a noisy food court. He felt like he was trapped in a glass and steel cage. Boredom was winning. But here's what the airlines will never mention to you. Many major global hubs offer free city tours or transit vouchers for passengers with layovers longer than 6 hours. Leo walked over to the information desk and asked about city access. Instead of a hard plastic chair, he was handed a complimentary transit pass to explore the city center for a few hours. They are banking on your ignorance, so you stay inside the terminal and spend money on overpriced coffee, magazines, and snacks. Stop. Check the airport website or visit the transit desk before you settle in for a long wait. It is not a guaranteed law, but it is a very common courtesy used by major cities to boost local tourism. Leo saw the city, grabbed a local lunch for half the price of airport food, and made it back for his flight feeling like he had enjoyed a mini vacation. Politeness is your greatest tool when asking for these perks. You turned a boring wait into a win. But a bus ride won't help when the noise inside the terminal gets so loud you can't think. Rule 6 is your secret escape for total silence. Rule 6 of 12. Find the interfaith chapel before your nerves shatter into 1,000 pieces from the terminal chaos. Michael, a 45-year-old architect, was trapped at Chicago O'Hare, ORD, during a brutal 4-hour weather delay. The terminal was a chaotic mess of screaming kids, loud gate announcements, and frustrated travelers fighting over charging ports. He felt a panic attack brewing and desperately needed 20 minutes of silence to regain his focus. Every airline lounge was packed to capacity with a long waiting list and a $50 entry fee. The system is rigged to keep you in high-traffic, high-spending zones where the noise is constant. Most travelers walk right past the airport chapels without a second thought, because they assume these rooms are only for formal religious services. They are wrong. These are often the quietest and most peaceful spots in the entire building. Michael found the chapel in Terminal 2 at O'Hare. It was completely empty, and the lights were dimmed. There were no loudspeakers blaring flight updates or angry travelers complaining on their phones. It was pure, unadulterated peace. Reality check. These aren't bedrooms or lunchrooms. Don't go in there and roll out a sleeping bag or start eating a loud snack. Michael sat for 15 minutes and left feeling refreshed and ready for his flight. Silence is a rare luxury in a modern airport, but it won't save you from a boring gate delay. That is nothing compared to the power plays we are about to discuss in Rule 7. Rule 7 of 12. When Gianna, a 31-year-old lawyer, saw the 3-hour delay on her flight from Seattle-Tacoma, SEA, she refused to just sit there and fume at the gate agent. She looked at the crowded gate area and the rows of people hunched over their phones in uncomfortable chairs. Most travelers just sit and scroll until their battery dies and their neck starts to ache. The airlines bank on this passive, frustrated behavior because it makes you more likely to buy comfort food. But Seattle-Tacoma is actually home to a massive free art museum that spans the entire airport. Instead of pacing back and forth near the vending machines, Gianna followed the signs for the half-mile art walk route. She found over 100 world-class art pieces, ranging from massive glass sculptures to intricate Northwest murals. The terminal became a gallery rather than a prison. Boredom is a choice you make. Following the route through Concourse A kept her moving and kept her blood flowing, which is vital before a long flight. It cost exactly $0. Gianna returned to her gate feeling energized instead of drained. Reality check. Looking at a painting won't fix a broken jet engine or change the weather, but it absolutely prevents a terminal meltdown. Sanity has no price tag. You handled the wait with style, but a walk won't save you when the crowd becomes unbearable. That is where Rule 8 steps in. Rule 8 of 12. Ever feel like the walls are closing in, while you are trapped at the gate for hours on end? Levi, a 26-year-old data analyst, was stuck at Pittsburgh International, PIT, for a long afternoon delay. The air felt recycled and thin, and the terminal was buzzing with the sound of 1,000 conversations. Every single seat near his gate was taken by someone charging a laptop or sleeping. He could feel the claustrophobia creeping up his spine. But Levi didn't panic. He left the crowds behind and headed for the roof of the terminal. Most travelers have no clue that Pittsburgh, PIT, offers a legitimate outdoor observation deck accessible to passengers. It is a literal breath of fresh air. While everyone else was fighting for a single power outlet and breathing in floor wax fumes, Levi was 50 feet above the tarmac, feeling the fresh wind and watching the planes take off against the horizon. The airline will not tell you this because they prefer you cramped in the terminal, where you are more likely to buy expensive snacks and drinks out of pure boredom. It isn't always open during a thunderstorm, but it is the ultimate escape from the terminal grind. Fresh air isn't just a comfort, it is a necessity for maintaining a clear head during travel stress. You escaped the crowd and found your peace. But can you escape the fine print when the airline tries to take your seat? Rule 9 is where the real money is hiding. Rule 9 of 12. Airlines can owe you up to $1,550 in cash if they bump you from a flight, yet 90% of passengers settle for a lousy $20 meal voucher. Mason, a 58-year-old real estate agent, was at Denver International, DEN, for a massive closing when the gate agent dropped the bomb. The flight was overbooked, and they were looking for volunteers. When no one stepped up, Mason was told he was being bumped. They offered him a $15 sandwich coupon and a seat on a flight the next morning. Mason was about to lose a huge commission, and the airline offered him a turkey sandwich. Stop. Don't take the first offer they throw at you. If you are bumped from a flight involuntarily, the law is on your side. Ask specifically for involuntary denied boarding compensation. If the airline's delay in getting you to your final destination is over 2 hours for domestic flights, they owe you 400% of your one-way fare, capped at that $1,550 limit. Demand a check on the spot rather than a travel voucher that expires in a year. They are banking on your ignorance of these federal regulations to save themselves thousands. Reality check. You must have a confirmed reservation, and you must have checked in on time at the gate to qualify for this cash. Mason stood his ground, cited the rule, and walked away with a check that covered his entire trip, and then some. Money talks. But even cash won't help when you are stuck in a security line that isn't moving because of tech confusion. Rule 10. Rule 10 of 12. Stop pulling your laptop and tablet out of your bag at every single security checkpoint. You are looking like a total amateur and slowing down the line for every single person behind you. When Theodore, a 49-year-old accountant, was passing through Houston, he stood at the bin station frantically unzipping 3 different bags to fish out his tablet, his laptop, and his backup drive. The line behind him grew, and the sighs from other travelers became audible. Theodore felt the sting of embarrassment as he struggled with his zippers. The system banks on your stress to keep things moving, but that very stress often causes the longest delays. The truth? Modern checkpoints in many major U.S. airports now use advanced CT scanners. These machines create a high-resolution, 3-dimensional image of your luggage that allows agents to see through electronics. If you see those large, bulky gray machines that look like a futuristic tunnel, keep your tech zipped up and stay in your flow. Theodore wasted 5 minutes of his life and frustrated 50 people for absolutely nothing. Know the technology before you reach the plastic bin. Win the line and keep your dignity. But saving time at security won't help you when the real hidden fees or lost items kick in at the end of your journey. You might beat the line, but you won't beat the system if you don't know Rule 11. Rule 11 of 12. Owen, a 35-year-old graphic designer, stood at the baggage claim in Brussels, BRU, watching the empty conveyor belt clank in a haunting, repetitive rhythm. His flight had landed over an hour ago, but his suitcase was nowhere to be seen on the belt. The agent at the baggage desk just shrugged, claiming their internal system showed the bag was still in transit, somewhere in the airport. Owen didn't believe it for a second. He pulled out his phone and saw a tiny blue dot sitting perfectly still in Terminal 2. He had tucked a small Bluetooth tracker inside his suitcase before leaving home. The airline will not tell you this, but their internal tracking data is often hours behind the actual physical reality of where your bag is located. Here is the fix. Walk back to the baggage desk. Don't shout and don't make a scene. Just calmly show them your tracking screen. Many airlines now allow agents to use passenger-provided tracking data to trigger a manual search on the ramp or in the sorting room. It is not a legal requirement, but it works surprisingly often because it gives the ramp agents a specific place to look. In Owen's case, the agent made one quick radio call, and his bag appeared 10 minutes later on a special cart. It had been left behind by mistake. Politeness, backed by real-time data, is your greatest weapon. Finding your bag is a relief. But what if your own body is the problem after a long day of travel? Rule 12. Rule 12 of 12. Ever felt like your legs were 2 sizes too big for your jeans after a 10-hour flight? For Lincoln, a 63-year-old financial advisor, this wasn't just minor discomfort. It was a potential medical crisis. Halfway through his long-haul trip from London Heathrow to Los Angeles, LAX, his shoes felt tight and his calves began to throb with a dull, heavy ache. The airline will not tell you this, but sitting perfectly still in a cramped economy seat for hours is the absolute enemy of your circulation. Your health is your own responsibility, not the airline's concern. Stop. Here is the fix for long-distance travel. First, compression socks are a non-negotiable must for any flight over 4 hours. They help maintain blood flow and significantly reduce swelling in your lower legs. Second, perform simple ankle circles and toe points every 30 minutes while you are seated. Third, drink a glass of water every single hour and avoid the salty snacks and soda that cause fluid retention. Lincoln started moving, walking the length of the aisle for 5 minutes every time he felt that heavy ache returning. Reality check. These steps aren't magic, and they won't make a middle seat feel like a first-class suite, but they reduce your risk of serious circulation issues significantly. Lincoln landed safely in Los Angeles, but it was a serious wake-up call for his future travels. If you don't know these rules, the airport will take your money, your time, and your health every single time you fly. The airlines hate that you know these secrets, but we have your back. To keep winning against the system and flying like a pro, hit that subscribe button right now and join the ranks of the world's smartest travelers.